Today I am going to talk about whether or not GMOs are safe to eat and the negatives and positives associated with GMO crops. There are hundreds of different arguments for either side of GMOs. Those may include stories that are not true and stories that are true. Several negative issues that are brought up with the GMOs is environmental risk, which can be leading to cross-pollination, big businesses taking over small farmers. But several positives of GMOs is they offer higher crop yields, stronger crops which equals less pesticides, tampering for taste as well as enhanced health, which can be seen through golden rice, lower starch levels in potatoes, and lower saturated fat in cooking oils, only to name a few. There are a couple of negatives I want to focus on, and those include corporate power, GMO contamination, superweeds, superpests. One of the largest complaints about GMOs is the patents that are held by 4 different seed companies that they own the market, which include Monsanto, DuPont, Syngenta, and Dow. Seed prices continue to rise year after year to plant crops, but remain extremely low year after year because of holdover. GMO contamination between fields can cause farmers to lose whole fields and not be able to harvest those crops. Superweeds and superpests are also evolving from the use of crops that no longer rely on heavy doses of pesticides or herbicides. But with the use of pesticides and herbicides, some organisms began to develop an immunity to these chemicals, just as you would build an immunity to something if you're constantly exposed to it, such as rays of sunlight because you get tan, or getting the flu shot so you don't get the flu during the season.
We have systematically, genetically modified all the foods, the vegetables and animals that we have eaten ever since we cultivated them. It's called artificial selection. That's how we genetically modify them. So now we can do it in a lab, and all of a sudden you're going to complain? If you're the complainer type, go back and eat the apples that grow wild. You know something? They're this big and they're tart. They're not sweet like red delicious apples. We manufactured those. That's a genetic modification. Do you realize silk cannot be produced in the wild? The silkworm, as we cultivate it, has no wild counterpart because it would die in the wild. So there's not even any silk anymore. So we are creating and modifying the biology of the world to serve our needs. I don't have a problem with that because we've been doing that for tens of thousands of years.
GMOs have continuously been modified to handle the changing environment of the world, from extreme drought resistance to extreme heat resistance. Golden rice was developed to fight vitamin A deficiency in kids who were going blind, only eating white rice, which was lacking in vitamin A. GMOs are nearly everywhere you look, and it can't be helped, because people are constantly wanting things that are bigger and better, from apples to water. As described by Neil Tyson, we as people have already modified so many organisms with artificial selection. On the lab, we've done these things to better improve the quality and quantity of food available for us to eat, as well as the animals we raise. People will always have their qualms with things that are new or somewhat unknown, but we must know it's already too late to reverse the course. GMOs will be at the front line of political debate for years to come, and be questioned whether or not they are safe. The debate will continue, and we will continue to use them. GMOs have their place in this world just as many other things do. Many would agree it is important to know what is a GMO and acquire more knowledge on them. But GMOs have opened doors to a more reliant food source that offers good food production year after year, and in this world, we depend on them.